Starting with feet parallel, standing upright and relaxed. Slowly bend your legs, bend your knees and your hips, and put your weight into your right leg. And you do this by dropping your right hip back a little more than your left hip. So the right hip drops back. This allows you to settle your weight into your right foot without tilting. So you drop your right hip backwards a little, as if you're about to sit in a chair with your right cheek. So you drop your right hip back. This helps to take the weight out of your left leg, and you allow your left knee to rise in front of you. So you raise the left knee in front and step out to the side. There. Very simple movement. This is not the commencement yet. This is the preparation for the commencement. The commencement involves allowing the hands to rise to shoulder level, and then allowing the hands to lower to hip level as the body lowers. Now that's a very simple movement, but it contains a lot of important detail. So we'll start again. From here, drop your right hip back, pour the weight into your right leg, allow the left knee to rise, and allow the left foot to go out to the side so that your feet are parallel, about shoulder distance apart, and then bring your weight into the middle so the weight is evenly distributed on your feet. From here, relax your shoulders, drop your elbows, and allow the hands to float up to shoulder level with your palms down. Then drop your elbows toward the knees as the hands lower and the body lowers. And that's the movement. So, again, feet together. Drop your right hip back, let the left knee rise, step out, feet parallel, about shoulder distance apart. In the beginning, you will need to actually look at your feet to make sure that they're both pointing in the same direction. Because often we'll have our feet pointing out like this, and we'll think they're pointing forwards. That's because we're used to having so much tension in the small of our back that we don't notice that we're actually pronating. So turn the toes forward, and that allows you to relax your lower back, and it allows the weight to pour straight down through your feet. Otherwise, you'll be creating unnecessary tension in your hips and your back, which will translate into unnecessary tension in your shoulders and neck. So, again, feet together, drop your right hip back, slowly step out, feet parallel, about shoulder distance or hip distance apart. Relax and let go. So, again, feet together, drop your right hip back, allow your left knee to rise, and move the left foot to the side, and shift so the weight comes to the middle. When you do this, you drop your right hip back, allow your waist to turn a little as well, so that you're not leaning to the side when you step out. You drop your hips, twist your waist a little to the right, let your left knee come up in front of you. Don't try to lift your knee up underneath your hip. Your leg does not bend that way. So drop your hip, let your left knee come up in front of you, step out to the side, and twist your waist to help your balance, and then shift your weight to the middle. You may ask, why are we spending so much time on such a simple movement? Well, there's a very important principle here that we need to pay attention to. And that has to do with the kind of torquing and twisting that can happen to the knee. When you step out, if you put your weight on your right leg and you let your hip buckle, then what happens is the hip ends up over here, the knee pushes in like that, and you end up with a lot of pressure sideways on your knee. So you want to keep your knee lined up with your toe, and to do that you have to keep your femur lined up with your foot. Okay? This is a very insignificant detail, and if you're young, it won't make much difference to you now. But as you get older, you'll start to notice a little bit of wear and tear and some discomfort in your leg. So it's better to pay attention to it now. And it will help you with your balance, it will help you with the leg strength, and it will engage more of the leg muscles, which is what you want to do. You want to stand using the muscles, not using the joints. So, one more time, and then we'll go on. Drop your right hip back. Feel the weight evenly distributed in the sole of your right foot. Don't let it roll out. There, drop the right hip back. Twist your waist a little to help with your balance. Let the left knee rise in front of you. Step out slowly, about hip distance or shoulder distance apart, and then come to the center. Relax from head to toe. The next movement is called commencement. From here, relaxing your hands and fingers, allow the hands to float up in front of you, extending out in front of you at about shoulder level. Now this movement, from here, you'll find in the beginning there's often a tendency to want to raise your shoulders, to lift your shoulders up like that, as if somehow your shoulders are going to make your hands go higher. And this is not what happens. What happens is your shoulder sinks down and gets underneath your arm, and the elbow drops down and gets underneath your forearm, and the wrist sits down a little, getting underneath your hand and allowing the hand to float up. So the arm supports the hand, doesn't drag it up. The arm gets underneath the hand. So when you do this, the shoulders sink, the elbows drop, the wrists settle, and the hands will feel like they're floating up when you do this really well. They'll feel like they're levitating. And the palms are down, not like this. So palms down, fingers extending, and allow the hands to extend as if you're sending energy out through your fingers. Then when you lower the hands, you drop the hands by dropping your elbows. Don't try to push down with the hands. Instead, let the elbows fall as if there are bowling balls hanging from your elbows, or as if you are going to touch your elbows to your knees, as if you were going to do this. So when you raise your hands, the shoulders sink, the elbows drop, the wrists settle, and the hands float up and extend in front of you like so. Then when you drop your elbows, the elbows drop as if they're going to touch your knees, and then drop the hands to about hip level. Again, the hands rise, shoulders sinking, elbows dropping, and extend. Now be careful not to lean back. If you do this, you are not actually raising your hands. You're doing this with your back. So shoulders stay down, the lower back stays open, and you allow the hands to extend forward, keeping your body upright. Then drop your elbows towards the knees as the hands lower and the body lowers. When you lower the body, don't lean forward. You want to have your head upright and the neck relaxed so that you're not doing this or this. So nice and relaxed and comfortable, like a plumb bob. So you're just hanging comfortably, shoulders sinking, elbows dropping, the hands extend to shoulder level, palms down, not way up here. Then drop your elbows toward the knees, the hands lower, and the body lowers. When you go down, make sure you bend your hips and your knees and your ankles. A lot of people just bend their knees and do this, and they end up tilting backwards, tucking the tailbone under. Instead, you want to make sure that you drop your hips backwards, your knees feel as though they're lifting up. So the hands lower and the body lowers. And when you get to this position, you should be able to relax your feet. You shouldn't feel as though you're lifting your toes up, and you should not feel as though you're pushing your toes forward, and your knees should not go past your toes. So keep your feet relaxed and stay nice and comfortable. See if you can find the most comfortable way to stand here, like so. So again, from this view, drop the right hip back, step out to the side, hands rise as high as the shoulders, drop the elbows towards the knees, the hands lower, the body lowers. Again, from the front, from the back, step out, feet parallel, the hands rise as high as the shoulders, the hands lower as the body lowers.